speak on the importance to include and work with local actors and the vulnerable populations. During the moderated discussion, please type your questions in the Q&A box. Please also add the name of the speakers if you want to direct your question to a specific person. One of our colleagues will be collecting the questions for the Q&A. In the Q&A box. Please also add the name. At this time, I want to introduce the panelists. Our panelists are first off, Gloria Nang. Gloria Nang is one of the former students of the Young Women's Leadership Program, YWLT, over 11 years ago. After that, she worked with SWAN or SWAN under the Women's Empowerment Program as a YWLT coordinator for 2 years. She also worked for different INGOs for 7 years. Currently, she works at SWAN as a Women's Empowerment Program Director. Next, we have Kun U. Kun U is leading the Bo'o Youth Organization as chairman, as well as with the Burma Environmental Working Group as coordinator, which is an umbrella organization comprised of 22 ethnic organizations. He has been working in advocacy at local, national, and international levels as he works to strengthen youth, farmers, women, and minorities' capacity to participate in policy development and democratization. Then we have Luipo Nge. Luipo Nge is a feminist trainer and an activist. At the border, she joined the Palang Women's Organization, which is now known as Tang Women's Organization, TWO, as an intern. She is the Joint General Secretary, too, of the Women's League of Burma, an umbrella organization made up of 13 women's organizations with different political and ethnic backgrounds. Then we have Debbie Stothard. Debbie Stothard is a pro-democracy human rights defender who has been organizing advocacy meetings and campaigns on human rights in Burma and other ASEAN countries for over 30 years. She is a founder and coordinator of ASEAN Burma, a network of organizations and individuals in ASEAN countries of Southeast Asia working to support human rights and democracy in Burma. And our moderator this morning will be Myra Dagepaw. Myra has supported the USCB for more than a decade. She currently serves as the Senior Partnership Officer for International Justice and Accountability at UUSC and is a board member for USCB. Myra, please feel free to start off the event and ask the questions according to the flow and how you see fit. Oh, I'm so sorry, you're muted right now.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm a little too excited to get to see everyone. So yeah, I forgot to turn on my mic. Thank you so much for making time and joining us. I know we are saying good night over the other side of your world, and our side is good morning. And welcome all the participants as well as the panelists. Yes, the situation in Shan State is getting pretty intense in the past couple of weeks, but then we get to hear a lot less to a certain extent. And also, since we do this kind of event only once a year, I think the last time we get to hear from about Shan State was like about a year ago when we had Kun U with us. So we're so grateful that you guys can come on again today, and the information that you will be sharing will be very important for our audience in order to be able to learn about what's going on in Shan State. So we'll dive into that. I'd like to start off with our sister from Shan community, Gloria. So Nima, Gloria, can you please share with us what the situation on the ground, especially in the Shan community, look like at this point? We learned that very recently, just the past week or couple weeks, there is a Brotherhood Alliance that launched the operation to fight against the Burmese military junta. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot going on. And if you can share some detailed information as to how the civilians are coping, what are the negative impact they have to face if they get any help, their safety and security extra. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for inviting me to this discussion. So first of all, I will start with the one after the military coup. So following the military coup, conflicts erupted in various regions of Shan State, and in southern Shan State, especially in Mungkung and Laika, two Shan ethnic organizations found themselves in conflict. They fight against each other, and the fighting against between SAC and PDF in Pekon and in Shan Kiapoda as well. And additionally, in Northern Shan State, conflict between RCSS and TNLA, KIA and TNLA, tension between RCSS and PNLO, and also, and all of these are leading to a significant number of displacements over the past 2 years. And since the coup, an increased number of sexual and gender-based violence and conflict-related sexual violence incidents have been reported to our organization as well. And forced recruitment of women and men by the Burmese military junta and armed groups active in the areas also continue, and the taxation continues to negatively affect communities' livelihood as well, as some actors often demand tax and food supplies. Some people are also accused as the spies of the opposition, and illicit activities including gambling, online scam centers, drug skills, and human trafficking. So in 2023, incidents of SGBV against children are on an alarming rise. Also, cases of human trafficking have been reported. The situation is dire for women who are forced to seek refuge in different areas, and beyond the scarcity of food, they lack proper hygiene, safe shelter, and adequate nutrition. Some women are even forced to give birth in precarious conditions on the road or in the jungle as well. This dire situation also affects children, with many being unable to attend the school, cannot imagine about their future. And furthermore, tensions broke out between the Shan State Progress Party, SSPP, and the NLA in the northern part of Shan State on September 27 of this year as well. Both of these groups are the members of FPNCC, which is led by UWSA. Since the launch of Operation 1027 on October 27, nearly 30,000 civilians have been displaced in townships such as Lai Shou, Jokme Senwi, Kokai, Muse, Namtu Namkam, Mokowet, and Mangton. So in order to stop the Burmese military junta from sending reinforcement troops to Northern Shan State, the Brotherhood Alliance blew up the Senwi Bridge on the Lai Shou Muse Highway on 30th October. So due to the road closures and roadblocks put in place by both EAOs and the junta, it has been difficult for local aid groups and healthcare workers to reach IDPs to deliver necessary supplies in a timely manner. As the situation is dire, the people are reluctant to venture outside due to the fear of helicopter or fighter plane bombardments, bomb explosions, and the destruction of roads and bridges, particularly in Senwi and Namkam Township in North Shan State. So adding to the complexity of the fighting, the situation has been getting worrisome at the time of speaking, and there are also reports of misunderstanding and tension between SSPP and TNLA at local level. So it's really heartbreaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Nima. Yeah, certainly a lot going on there. I've been to Namkan several years ago, and I had to sleep there only one night. And that whole night I wasn't able to sleep, fearing of all kinds of stuff. So I guess I can't really imagine how the people on the ground will be coping with the situation right now, where everything is going on and there's no guarantee for their safety and security. Thank you so much. I'd like to head over to Kun U. Basically, the question will be pretty much the same, and we're very grateful that you are able to join us this time. I know from the last year, your presentation, it was pretty intense as well. So if you can also bring us up to speed as to what's going on in the Pa'o community, yes, if you can share a little more detail, that'll be great.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
So firstly, thank you for the invitation. This is very important when we talk about IDPs. It's also happening just last night. We got some other information. This is a very important issue that we raise up here. So I would like to mention, like, I have limited time with you guys, so I want to mention three main things. One thing is, after the coup is fighting between SAC and KNDF Krini. So those IDPs fled a lot to Shan State in Sisai, Penlong, and some area in Hopong, and some area in Taungji. So mostly they close with like Pekong and Penlong and Sisai, and this is the most IDPs from the Krini State. They fled to those areas. Another one is from the Penlong Township, we call on March 23. So there's numbing case. So it's 22 people was killing there. So it's massive killing happened. So that is another case. And then now is another alliance. So that is one case that I wanted to mention tonight. So relate to the first IDPs that they relocate. So there's the number is at that time is about over 200,000. Over 200,000. They moved to Southern Shan State. And then now, like about like 9,000, they stay live around in those areas. And then many of them, they trying to go back to their home in Krini State, but their home is not there anymore. It's burned down, and then things change a lot, and then they can't really make their life there anymore. So they relocate back to, they move to Southern Shan State again. Then some of them look for job opportunity and then looking for kind of like daily job, cheap job. And a very sad story happened. Like there is some young woman when there's no food and then no support for them. So they are being now is like a sex worker in the community. That is what we got the situation update. So this thing happened is quite update up to now. So another thing is the people who are from Krini State. So now they move to like Taungji and other area, and then now they are looking for a daily job that they cannot really survive for their life. In the past days, some donor or some NGO, they're also trying to help them, but relate to the support is just temporary and not enough. And then because the number increased day by day, so that is they need to support them a lot. So that is one case from the Sisai and Krini State area. And another one is in Penlong, after massive killing. Basically, that was done by SAC. So people was thinking like, who did that, but actually it's what's done by SAC as well. So that case is like, no one is, up to now, no one is really taking responsibility for the people who already died. And then now, like when we're trying to engage with other PO leaders and other PO communities, so they are also afraid because there is also involvement of the militias as well. So I will explain about the stakeholder another time. So people are also fear, and then they can't really get to help the people on those areas now. And that's Nam Ninh area is about 90,000 IDPs stay there. And then people from the military side, they're also trying to play the problem between the Karenni and Po, so it's trying to manipulate like ethnic issues as a problem. So that is IDPs stay ongoing there. And then there's some people who go back to their home. And then there's some young children, they cannot really go to the school. The school is shut down. And then now many young students, they're trying to move to Ho Pong and Taungji, other place to continue their education. That is the case. And then after they return to their home, they also step on the mine. So people are also dying when they step on the mine. There's another case. And yeah, just last night, like the military, they have a long, big track. They go to from Penlang to the Karenni area. So the fighting, that I think this is the sign of fighting that will continue to happen. And also geographically, Penlang and Naypyidaw is close to each other. So if other people are trying to target the Naypyidaw, then however, the conflict will continue there again, armed conflicts. So yeah, so basically now, like relate to the Northern Path Alliance impact, like there is 500 IDPs, they move to Taungji, and then they stay in Taungji. It's called from the monastery called Nagapat Tao. Nagapat Tao is the dragon, the name of the temple. So they live there. It's about 500. And then they moved there last 4 days ago. So now they are staying there. Another one is Mangla, and they're trying to come to Taungji as well. But from the Taungji area, they said that he has already many people, so they're trying to send those people to Chaintong area. That was on 6th November. So now in Taungji, there's a resettlement place that we are planning to trying to help the IDP for them. But some of the leaders said we were just let them to stay here just for temporary. After that, we were push them to go back to their home. That is some of the people was talking about that. So related with the help, there's like Red Cross and ICRC, they're also trying to help, but just a little. And then some community people at the first time, they're trying to have themselves, like they bring their own food from their farm, they bring their drying food, and then they donate what they can donate in many ways. But now, like people don't really pay attention on this. And then now I feel like lucky because now the alliance makes some noise. Then people start to feel, okay, IDPs stay there, we need to help them. So that is another chance. So anyway, so the currently really with IDP is still ongoing, and then they need many help. We have to support them a lot at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Ku. I know it's always heartbreaking where we somewhat already know what the situation on the ground is very intense, but at the same time, hearing the fresh information from all the people like you working directly with the impacted community is another level. And I know you're saying we are lucky. I think one thing that I'm taking into consideration is that people like you all working directly with the impacted community, trying to look at things in a positive way, which shows the resiliency of the people on the ground who are fighting, but at the same time keeping that positivity. And I think that is something that we all have to absorb and taking into consideration and support as much as we possibly can. I also wanted to move to Nima Lueponing from the Ta'a community. Like I said, we get to hear very little about the situation in Shan State, and for our viewers, some of them will be having a little hard time understanding why we have to do Shan State for one event. Is because Shan State itself is very ethnically diverse. So at least right now you see 3 different ethnic from the Shan State. That is the reason why we wanted to sort of like keep Shan State for one event to Shan State, so that we get to hear from several different groups. And so Nima, basically the question will be pretty much the same as to Kun U and Gloria, as to what's going on at the ground right now. If you can please share the situation, that'll be great.
Yes, good evening and good morning from your side. This is Lui Pungé from the Ang Women Organizations. Sure, in Shan State, as our colleges also mentioned, that the ethnic organization are also very much, and it's very complicated. But on the other hand, I would like to highlight here for two parts. So before the coup, sure, in the Ang area, so the offensive war has been taken since 2012. So it has been for a long time. Operations were operated by the SAC before. But in here, I won't highlight that kind of situation and condition. Like my colleagues mentioned, that there's a lot of tension even among of the RCSS and TNLA and other ethnic group. But let me just jump in after the coup. So after the coup and before the 1027 operation. So it is recently what is happening in northern Shan State especially. So for the Ang Women Organization, we are operating in different 10 townships in northern Shan State where we are, including the southern Shan State too. So before after the coup in the Ang area, so it is over 55 classes between the TNLA and SAC. So it's made more IDP are fleeing around. In here, I would like to clarify that the IDP in Shan State is very different with the other areas. For example, in current state, they can flee as a refugee to Time-Burma border, but in Shan State, China never accepts the IDP and refugee to be fleeing it at their border. So that's why, in order to document the exact cases of the IDP number, it is so hard for the CSO like us who are operating the humanitarian aid support there, because the IDP are just fleeing around to their relative or at the monastery or the villagers where they think that is safe. It is temporary camp. It's just temporary camp, because if the IDP if there is no fighting there, so they return back and come and back like that. So it is so hard to document exact number of the IDP, like Karen community and Kachin community. For the Kachin community, they can base at Liza, where the ethnic organization KIA control area. So, but for the Ang community and mix together with the population of Shan and others ethnic, so they cannot go to China-Burma border, and they cannot stay at the camp like long term camp like the other ethnic people. So that is so different with the other ethnic people. So, and in the past, the fighting, the offenses were between the TNLA and SAC or other ethnic others ethnic people with the SAC too. They are just operating the offensive war, not using the airstrike. But after the coup, you will see that there is over that over 30 times shelling with the airstrike. So it is only in northern Shan State that I calculate. It is not at all from the southern Shan State, but this is the shelling at the airstrikes by the SAC in our area, at the Taang area. So you will see that it is recently in June and May, June, July, August. It is in the 3 months. So there are over 30 times that are using the airstrikes and shelling at the without any targeted in the Taang area. So including the children were killed by the shelling, and the villager, especially the women who are in the camps and who are at the villages, because most of the Taang people, our livelihood are farming, so we need to go to the jungle and farming, but we don't know what the time they will be shelling. So they share, and then most of the women were died in the shelling. So, and another thing is landmine. Landmine is also very dangerous in our area. You don't know who is using the landmine because there are many ethnic organizations also, and on the other hand, the SAC camp are also very much in northern Shan State. So they base every townships and every area, even in villages. So landmine is also very issue and crucial, dangerous things for the local people. They cannot walk, they cannot go to their field because of the landmine, and many people were dying in landmine too. And on another hand, after injury, the local people got injury, the local people cannot go to the hospital because the SAC has after the coup, the SAC has set up the checkpoint every villages. So after they set up the checkpoints, they didn't allow the people to go in and out freely. So that's why the people, the women especially who got injury, they cannot get any treatment at the hospitality. So that's why they died even in the journey. So this woman, she went to the her tea farm at Namsan Township, but she was killed by the airstrike, and then they want to send her to the hospital, but the SAC didn't allow them to go, and then she died in the journey to the hospital. So this is so bad in Taang area, and it is really restrictions that are happening right now. And you will see that the human rights violations are still increasing, double increases after the coup. So we have a lot of after the coup, we have over arbitrary arrest that we have been received. It is over 50 cases, and then torture, killing, it is over 10 cases that it just the case only Taang Women Organization receive. It is not at all. It means that we have been received a lot of human rights violation, and it has been increased. And you will see that the whole villages were shelling and then burning down by the SAC while they are using the airstrike. And this is the picture of the evidence of the bombing that they are using. So it is the whole it's kind of like the human body they using. So it is very heavy that they use in the Taang area, and then the local people cannot pick the tea, and then the local people face economic hardship, and there is no any international humanitarian aid can reach there because due to the security restriction, and then on the other hand due to the offensive war. So most of the international humanitarian agency they are really care their staff security concern, so they never been there. Only the CSO are operating, like the Ang Women Organization and some of the other ethnic CSO are operating there. So after the 1027 operation, so you will see that this is only recently in these days. So you will see that MNDA, AA, and TNLA and other PDFs, so they are collaborating for the 1027 operation, and the classes has been over 10 or 100 happening, and the sharing with airstrike is 50 times. So you will see that in this woman is only 2 months old baby mothers, but she was sharing in Lashore, and then she died immediately. And so you will see that they are also, the SAC also using the villager as a human shield in Nongchor, northern Shan state too. And 60 women and kids were dying in the shelling because of the shelling, and over 20 get injury. It is only in the Ang area. We didn't get information from the Kokan area, like Lao Cai and others area. So it is only when I am talking about the Ang area, it is especially regarding on the township that we are operated, like Nam Kam Muse, Lashore, Tây Ni, Chao Me, and Namadu, and Mantong, and Namsan. So this is the township that we are focusing and operating right now. So you will see that the increasing number of the IDP right now is over 30,000, 32 according to the MOD, the NUG record. And our record too, it is over 32,000 IDP are increasing, and over 18, I think it is increased now. So it is over 20 villager has been dead because of the fighting and offensive war, and 44 civilians has been injury, and over there are a lot of destruction of property, including the monastery, and including church, and including some of the public area that has been destroyed by the shelling in northern Shan state. So this is the condition that happening right now, and then there are very less international humanitarian aid can reach out there. Yeah, this is the real condition that are happening right now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nima. I know there's a whole lot to talk about. I mean, what's going on the ground is massive, and we really appreciate the details you share as much as you can with the very limited time we have. And I wanted to turn over to Debbie, who is our longtime supporter, one of the pioneers that trying to bring about change, although she is not a Burmese, but we adopted her as our Burmese sister for the longest time already. So from the outset of the attempted military coup, your organization, Altsia Burma, released the Coup Watch, which has evolved to provide comprehensive coverage of the different states and regions in the country. And it was really helpful, actually. But we also heard from all our panelists this morning. And I wonder if you can share your thought as to how important it is to elevate these local actors to the platform to where they can be heard, and also making sure that the information on the ground is accurately relayed to the international community, and also preventing mis or disinformation.
Thanks, Myra, and it's always inspiring and really happy to see some old friends and new friends here, including Kunu and Pongye, of course, and Yumara. One of the things that what happened as soon as the coup started in February 1st, is the information started coming in, and then we saw that many courageous documenters and citizen journalists and media were reporting from the ground, but in many respects they are kind of isolated from each other. So we wanted to actually we don't do the field research. We wanted to collect and connect all of that coverage together so that all of us can have a national overview of what is going on, actually an international overview also, to track what different companies and governments are also doing in response to the atrocities happening in Burma. So actually it is both a heartbreaking and a head-breaking exercise every month. It's an ongoing process. It was there's in every month the Cool Watch the Cool Watch for that month is produced hopefully within 10 days of the end of the month covered. So I'm going to be very happy to tell you that the Cool Watch covering the month of October is going to be published tomorrow on the 9th of November in Asia and the 8th of November in the evening in the East Coast US. But every month, our very hardworking team goes through about 500 news and longer articles and reports to condense things and summarize things so that it's available for people to read. It's important also to note that our team does 7 thematic trackers. So if you need more information, because we cannot squeeze every single thing into the monthly Cool Watch, you can go online and download the different thematic trackers, which includes CDM and crackdown, conflict, which is huge, and the conflict section is the biggest part of the Cool Watch and has the biggest number of entries in the tracker: COVID, health and education, women, and international responses, and economics and business. So we do have 7 thematic trackers to keep track if people are particularly interested on a theme. So this is how you can also build your own briefers and fact sheets. So a lot of people are using that. But we did that because we recognized that the people were so much under threat, and we have had the privilege of training and building capacity and supporting so many different grassroots activists, young activists, and women to be advocates, and now they were actually working on the ground. So we had to change what we were doing in order to respond to what is happening in the country. But having said that, it's also important when people are dealing with conflict and attacks, airstrikes, war crimes and atrocities in front of them in their local area, for them to also be able to know what is going on elsewhere, and then they can understand the trends. So Pongye was talking about human shields, and Gloria from Swan was talking about how people are being taken as human shields. You will see that this has become a trend around the country. The illegal junta is doing that as part of their strategy. When you look at the airstrikes are mainly targeting civilians. And on October 9, the airstrike and artillery attack on the Kachin IDP camp near Liza is a very clear example of that. So we can already see, especially in Shan State, since we're focusing on Shan State, there's a huge diversity of different ethnic groups. I'm looking at the questions in the Q&A. So, and the junta and the military has traditionally done a divide and rule, because there's at least 10 different ethnic, non-Burman ethnic groups in Shan State, So how that is pitched, and when we talk about Pa'o, how the main Pa'o group has been captured, kind of bribed and aligned with the junta. But at the grassroots, we have so many amazing young people and women who have been standing up for human rights and democracy and are also being harassed and surveilled and persecuted by the main Paul group because these activists are on the side of human rights and democracy. So if we're thinking about what's going on the ground, then we can see from looking at what's going on in the Coup Watch, what is happening, where are the trends? I mean, in October, we saw a lot of people taken as human shields in Shan State and other parts of the country. But bizarrely, in Bago, the illegal junta troops even took 20 elephants as shields in Natalin Township. So even it's not just people, even elephants are not safe from this junta. So we see also the economic devastation on the ground, but we also see the fact that in situations where there is so much active blocking of humanitarian aid on the ground, it is really local communities who are helping themselves. And many of the communities are also very concerned and thinking about what's happening to other communities in that area and on the other side of the country. So we do need to understand what we're seeing on the ground, especially since Operation 1027 has actually been quite successful. They took back over the Three Brotherhood Alliance took back over 80 junta outposts. There are some places which have been cleared of military presence. So that has been successful, but we also know the empire always strikes back. And so the fighters who are located, the resistance fighters who are located in the community, they know this is their family and this is their community. It's in their interest to make sure civilians are able to run away or able to hide. Because the junta, if they're not able to get back at the resistance fighters, they will target civilians. So we need to, but inevitably at some stage, there are some places you're lucky you can hide and some places you cannot hide. But then the question is, even if you did not fight the junta, you will still be killed. You will still be raped. You will still be displaced. So the community and the resistance don't have much choice except to fight back, because this is a situation of already they understand that if the compromise means death for civilians. So this is I think a lot of people talk to me like in ASEAN, like, oh, who can we invite to the peace talks? What peace talks? There are atrocities on the ground. If you take away the attacks in Palestine by Israel since for this month, if you do not count that, do you know that Burma has the highest number of civilians killed in airstrikes in the world this year, even more than Ukraine or Sudan? But Israel now has killed off these statistics because they're killing so many Palestinians within a short amount of time. But you can already see most people are surprised when we say from January to September this year, 2023 alone, the number of civilians killed in airstrike in Myanmar is the highest in the world in any conflict until the attack against Palestinians took place in October. This was the highest number. People think it's Ukraine, but no, Ukraine is number 3 because they actually protect civilians in this situation. So that's one thing. But on the other time too is that when we talk about the inclusion of IDPs and refugees, it's very clear the international community and regional community need to wake up that this war is not going away.
Mm.
Min Aung Hlaing has gone so far that he realizes he cannot turn back. And that's why we are seeing a purge happening in the country, where they are arresting their own junta leaders left, right, and center, accusing them of corruption, which was normal behavior in the military and the junta anyway. But what Min Aung Hlaing is worried is that these people are changing their mind about the coup and thinking, oh, we are tired of losing. So maybe we should compromise and have some peace talk. And he does not want that. So we are being driven into this point of no return, and the international community is not helping enough. You know, this month, during October, for the coup watch of October, we found that even Indonesian civil society lodged a complaint with the Indonesian National Human Rights Commission because they accused 3 state-linked companies of supplying military equipment to the junta, even while Indonesia was talking about the need to reduce violence in Myanmar. So I think we need to have a more comprehensive approach from the outside already. We cannot be pulling in different directions and undermining ourselves, because then if the international community cannot get its act together, then they cannot accuse Shan people in Shan state or people in Burma of not getting their act together. If they think about this, they can't say, okay, you people who are being subjected to airstrikes and war crimes and crimes against humanity, please get your act together. Whereas the governments who are sitting very comfortably in their capital cities, in New York, in Geneva, they don't want to get their act together. So I think this is the thing. It's in so many ways, it's almost like a victim blaming. As a feminist, I really object to that. So it's like a kind of a victim blaming. Why do you blame the people who are being subjected to conflict? Why don't you take more responsibility to ensure that at the core of any kind of initiative is human rights of the local community? The directly affected community need to be included in these considerations, in the policies, in the processes. Otherwise, we will constantly be in a spiral where what we are not working for is substantive peace. We are working for another ceasefire. So, and we cannot afford any more ceasefire. We really need to have a genuine peace arrangement for the country. And that means at this point is no compromise with the junta. The junta is not willing to compromise, or the head of the junta is not willing to compromise. So why and any kind of compromise is just buying him more time to cause more atrocity.
Yeah, Debbie, I totally agree with you. And
we saw already different Western countries even tried to secretly have it actually didn't do anything to reduce the violence. Sorry, my internet is a bit unstable here. I'm on the border. I'm going to stop there.
Thank you. I share your frustration. I think we all are very frustrating in terms of the situation in Burma, and that receive very little to no attention. But then the people on the ground are taking so much risking their own lives, putting their lives in the line in order to bring about change. But sometimes the international community just come in and take advantage of all the hard work that the community on the ground are doing. I wanted to put it that way, because we can, for the situation in Burma, you can't really look at peace as peace. Peace has to come with accountability and justice. Only then we probably might be able to sustain peace. So, but anyway, our time is running quite quickly when we are in a really important conversation. So I wanted to take us to the next question, and the question will be for pretty much the same with all our 3 communities on the ground. They all are very hardworking, resilient community leaders, and I think it will be very interesting for all 3 of you to share your work on the ground with the community, the challenges you're facing, how do you support your community, and if there is any coordination between not just you 3 groups, but also other groups, that'll be great. And if we can please keep it like between 3 to 5 minutes, that'll be great. We're going to start off with Gloria, and then of course Kun U, and then come down to Nyimat Wipune.
Thank you, Ma. So currently we have been using various methods to offer support during these turbulent times. And after the military coup, we reached out to mainly to our alumni network and gathered information from the communities to provide assistance as safely as possible. But unfortunately, getting supplies to those in need has become more challenging recently. So to overcome these difficulties, we have mainly been reaching out to our alumni that I have said before and asking them to contribute to support the IDPs and expectant mothers. So in Senvi, one of our alumni have faced hardest going out to buy supplies for IDPs due to the security concerns. Our support mainly revolves around providing essential items like food, medicine, and clothing. So far, we have made contact with 21 IDP camps and have been able to help 12 of them, benefiting over 3,000 people. So, and to meet their basic needs, we are also assisting with maternity health care expenses and delivery fees for women who are in need. As Swan is also one of the founding members of WLP, so we collaborate closely with our member organizations as well. And in Thailand, we also have heard that Chiang Mai University students, Bangkok University students, Shan Literature and Culture Association, and the other organizations are also accepting donations and are actively working to help the communities as well. And it's really challenging in some of the areas due to the lack of phone connectivity and internet access in some areas. So this make us really difficult to contact them and then to reach the communities. In some of the communities, like it's really difficult. But we are trying our best to try to support more than now, and we are gathering the informations and from the alumni and also the other networks that we have been working together for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Nima. If we may move on to Kun U.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, basically, we are the one who is working on the ground, and we are from the ground community base, and we work and stay with them for a long time. And related with it, IDP is also new to our organization because we haven't met both IDP since like about 25 years ago. But last 25 years ago, there's also both IDP, but there's no media attention. No people is talking about this. So people just don't know. There's also a lot of IDPs happening in around Southern Shan State, many areas as well, but people just don't pay attention into it. So now when the media came out, so we have a chance to raise up there's IDP, whatever. So just keep in mind that IDP is not just happening recently, it's happened a lot in Po community as well. So yeah, we try many ways like to help them. Like sometimes we have to pretend like we are just a villager. We stay and work with them for like a month. Then people don't really like that we are from CSO or CBO, because after military coup, we are the one who also shut down our 3 community-based office. So after that, we trying to kind of like make low profile, and then some people have to make no profile at all. So because of kind of like, I got 2-3 phone calls that's Kun U, don't trying to do anything. Shut up and silence. And then next week, another phone call from Malaysia leader. Kun U, I know you are trying to do something to bring the people to come to the street. I said, I can say people not to go out or to stay home. So that is their decision to make their own decision. Because they know that in the past we used to work with farmer community people, and then farmer community people, they lost their land, military land confiscation. So that kind of experience that we came out to the street. So they have some kind of that kind of history. That's why they suspect that we are the one who is leading that anyway. So another phone call is saying like, Kunu, don't try to bring the people out. And then I said, how long should I wait? They said, military coups, this were finished in 3 or 4 months. So that you can be your country will be nowhere. And again, I said, no, I don't believe that 3 or 4 months is impossible. Military coup is a big issue. And then we started to make came out to the street and then trying to against the military coup. Then I got the last phone call is like, I can't guarantee for your life. That was the last call. And then they said, this situation is not between ethnic and public and Burmese situation. This problem is between Burmese to Burmese problem. None of your business. So don't try to involve in this process. So we have those kind of internet personnel, challenge, security concern, and then 3 of our lady staff, they also militia and then police, and they came to their house quite often, and then they tell them like, stop what you are doing. So I relocate them to border area. So yeah, we still have some people who is helping with the IDP people. So firstly, like the way we do is like we're trying to collect who have some food, a drying food, whatever food. So trying to donate to the IDP. Another thing is like we advocate to the monks. Monk is influenced person, so explain to him, and he's the one who is also doing advocacy. And then he said 2 words: if you want to help IDP, don't ask them what ethnic you are, and then don't ask them what religion you are. So see them as a human being and then support them. So that was a strong message from the monk, and then many people community also trying to help them. And then we also try to look funding and support from the international. So there's many procedure as well. Like what is the some are looking for impact or whatever. Some are okay, like okay, just emergency, just juries. But they also kind of lack of fund. I think what is that maybe for some of their funding move to other country. So yeah, this what I can say now. And then when we deliver the food, like they also block us on the way when we carry big food, and they blocked the way, and then they said, where are you going to send? We said, we're trying to help the people over there. And then they said, no, they can't go. And then, so how about if for our family? They said, for family is okay. So next day we bring more people, and then we split the food. Okay, you bring some, I bring some, and then we go at night time. So when they block again, then they say, this is just for our friend, for family, not for IDPs. So my final point here, relate to the challenge. I think some of you also know the ASEAN, the Indonesia ambassador visit to Shan State. So people, ASEAN also thinking about safety of the people, and then but now ASEAN diplomatic themselves, he is not even safe. That is relate to the humanitarian assistance. Okay, come, we can do humanitarian assistance. Then on the other side, they tell other militia group to stop this plan. So the door is in the military hand, open and close, open and close. So the plan is, that is how Indonesia or ASEAN is thinking. If we try to help the people, we go direct, we go with military. That is, you are not safe if you go with that way. And then you are delivery, and then you are help is cannot reach to the people. And then another thing is when there's PN and Open National Liberation Organization, they also go along with NCA and then bring those humanitarian program into their place. That is the plan with the permission and collaboration with SAC. Then SAC, they say, okay, you can come. They go together, but when it's come to seaside, before they reach to the place, there's township, so they get targeted and then they shoot. So then when they show, they think like it is PNA is part of this. Now PNNO and PNA become split between them. They are the one who trying to kind of like, okay, we have to talk and negotiate or whatever. So the main point here is like when it's come to challenge, like not only us but internationally also have a challenge if they're trying to deal with military plan. So it's split in between all ethnic, and also the help cannot really reach to the ground. And then it's also not safe for them because military is allowing this thing to accomplish their plan of one thing is election, second thing is peace process. So that is their plan. That's why we have to be careful with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And Nima Lupune?
Yes. So my colleagues has mentioned that for the IDP and human rights defender and activists, they have faced a lot of challenges. Last 2 weeks ago, 3 of our staff from the TWO were arrested by the SAC while they are on their journey to the camp. So you will see that the IDP currently, they need emergency support, even food and drinking water and blanket and shelter, because in Shan State currently is winter, so they have no, when they flee, they have no clothes, even clothes. So they don't have that. That's why they need those emergency support immediately. And for the individual cleaning environment, so they even doesn't have source. And for the woman, they doesn't have woman users because they have to stay at the monastery. Some are at the monastery. In the monastery, they are only monks. There is no for the woman safety and security for the woman. So this kind of condition also the women are facing, and then there is no any international humanitarian aid support can reach out there because of the offensive war that are happening at the area. So nobody there to go. There is no Save the Children. There is no war food program. There is no any UN agency that are reaching out there. Only IRC and the local community, like my friend mentioned, monks and the community leader who would have them, so we have to collaborate with them. But for the Taang Women organization, we still have mobile office that are operating in different 10 townships. So we still have crisis center to have the IDP and the survivor. So for the Taang Women organization, we have the survivor support that we are supporting for their hospitality fee and medical fee and the visits, food that they need to the IDP camps and daily uses of the children and the women also. But currently after the 1027 operations, so the children could not join the school. We don't know how could we have the children to access for the educations. So it is no way right now because the offenses were still happening. So that's why the children are lack for the educations. They are staying at the monastery, and then they are relative and in the villages and at the jungle too. So that why even in the jungle, so they have to, there is no any safety condition because the airstrike, you don't know when the airstrike would come, and then the airstrike will be shelling with the heavy arm, so you know nothing about that. And then the local community and even some troop of the TNLA, they trying to mobilize the community to have the safety place, how to call bone coaching is called in Burmese, for the safety of the local community. But some of the area they cannot do because there is no space to do, and then there is no any protection that they can do like that. And then there is no facility. So you will see that right now, the food, there is even no rice right now because it is so expensive. It is only one bag of the rice. It is over over 100,000 jets. So people cannot access for the food and for the other business food too. So that is very challenges for the local people right now. And we would like to request the international community to consider to collaborate with us. So firstly, the international community need to really consider to regarding on four-cut policy. That is not in four-cut policy in 88 that the SAC are using to us. So for me, I have been fleeing since I was young till today. I'm still I don't have a house, and then I still have to flee because of the offenses were at our area. So the international community should focus on the focus that cost the SAC legitimacy, and then the funds, especially income to the SAC, any investment, what the international community are doing, and communication and collaboration with SAC, and the embargo is also very important, including the petrol for the airstrike that they are using. So this is very important, and supporting for the humanitarian aid. So I saw one of the question that how could we have you? So please support for the cross-border aid. This is very important for us for the cross-border aid. Currently, Thai government has been changing their policy. However, if we still have the cross-border aid, somehow we can access the humanitarian aid support directly to the community because we are in the community. So you can see that the women organization, now we are fleeing with the IDP, we are with the IDP too. So most of our staff are living inside of, we doesn't have any only high-profile leader outside of the country, like me and others, some sister, 2 or 3. They are totally, they are inside of the country and in the township where they are operating right now. So you can have directly, you can walk directly with us, not MOU with the SAC. So I witnessed that, like Save the Children and UN agency who based in Lasho, they still have MOU with the SAC. That's why they cannot go the area where the SAC doesn't allow them to go. They cannot go freely, like not freely. We have to go confidentially. We are also a human being. We scare for our security, but we need to have our community, own community. That's why the international community, please, you can collaborate with us, and we are very welcome to collaborate with us, not to cross with the collaboration with the SAC. And then my friend Kun U also explained that we have trying to reach out the international community for the humanitarian aid, but some of the donor, they reply as, oh, we are not humanitarian aid support organization, so we cannot support for the humanitarian aid. And then they have a lot of restrictions on the proposal requirement. For example, are you registered organization? Which registration that are you talking about? Registration with SAC or registration with the NUG? Which government that you are telling about right now? You have to be realistic. So for the CSO who are really operating in the ground, they have no collaboration. We are boycotting the SAC control mechanism at all. So that's why we don't collaborate with the SAC. For the Taang Women Organization, we have policy that we will not collaborate with any international organization who has MOU with the SAC. So we say no. That is regarding on the political position that we have. So that's why we want international community to consider to reduce that kind of proposal requirement too, and to support the state-based organization right now, because we don't want to go back like in the NLD regimes and without of the political solution in the country, because we understand that we will face this kind of condition again and again. So you will see the history of, we can learn the lesson learned from the history of Burma. We never have practicing the federal principle in reality, and then the military coup has been happening wave by wave. You will see that in 1988, so we did the election in 90, and then the military doesn't want to, they make a coup again. And in 2021, they make coup again, because that is not a federal country yet. So if we are a federal country, they cannot make a coup for the whole country in a minute or in an hour. But right now, in 2021, they just make a coup in just an hour they take. So that's why federal country is very important for us. So right now, like including not only in Shan state, but also other states, they are trying to implementing a state-based organization, like, for example, in Karenni, so they have KSICC. So you can work directly with them, including humanitarian aid or local governance or other implementation regarding to the toward the federalism. Like us, Taang also, we have TPCC, Taang Political Initiative Committee. So this is TPCC is also trying to set up its local governance and the humanitarian aid support or CDM supports and others community support in its own community. So you can collaborate directly with us. One day we will become a state government. So please work with us. Don't work with the SAC. We request you all to consider about that. And I think this is very important. And another thing is, you all can have us to not to betray the people in Burma. And you need to consider the accountability and responsibility of the human rights violation committed by the military junta, because they commit the war crime and crime against humanity. And if you all respect the international law, you have to consider the Burmese people regarding on the international law protection too. That's why the military has been committing the war crime and crime against humanity for a long time. So we cannot let them continue to commit those crimes with the impunity. So please collaborate with us and help us to accuse them, charge them by the international law too. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm taking long.
I am muted, sorry. Thank you so much. I know, I mean, there is a whole lot to talk about. So yes, don't be sorry about it. I just wanted to come down to the questions. There are really good questions in the chat box. And I know there are quite a few that our sister Debbie can cover. So Deb, if you can please take care of that 2 to 3 questions we chat about, and then we'll move on to another round of answering the question. Thank you so much.
When it comes to humanitarian aid, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. When it comes to humanitarian aid and the big agencies, I would say their role should be to station themselves on the border, disburse grants, disburse the funds to the grassroots organizations who are doing this work and taking risks and willing and being resourceful and resilient in how they deliver the aid, as Kunu gave some very concrete examples, and Wei Pungeng and also Swan themselves have done a lot of amazing work on the ground. So to be able to trust those groups, give them the funds, do the support work for them instead of saying, oh, you are not registered, oh, we need receipts for this. It's like, hello, you're in a war zone. If people catch you with receipts, they don't just arrest you and kill you. They will go after the names that they can identify in the receipts. So you have to be, when Loy Pongel and Kuru and other friends talk about being realistic, the donors need to be realistic. So I think otherwise there'll be dinosaurs stuck in Rangoon, not able to go anywhere and just using their funds for their own staff expenses rather than for monthly trips to Bangkok to decompress from the stress of being stuck in Rangoon. So I think we do, and I'm sorry I sound so sarcastic, but it's a very frustrating thing because this has been happening for a very long time, even before the transition started, that this whole dismissal of grassroots organizations from the community as somehow being less relevant than a big INGO, when it should be the other way around. There has to be support for the grassroots. If we're thinking seriously about resilience and recovery after the coup is reversed, this is where we need to invest. Now, when we talk about advocacy, I must say that the international community has done a lot. ASEAN has done a lot, but we would want them to move much faster. Having said that, because I'm an oldie, I've been hanging around since the late 80s, early 90s, I can tell you that when this coup started in February 2021, and until now, what the movement has achieved has been really amazing. The movement has been able to achieve in 3 years in terms of the range of sanctions and actions. Within 3 years, what it took about 8 or 9 years to achieve after 1988 uprising. So if we're thinking about scale, then we have to recognize, yes, this movement has been much more effective in securing sanctions and actions. Things that were very difficult or considered impossible in the 80s and 90s have become possible during this round, partly because different organizations and movements invested in youth and women's leadership. We have kick-ass feminist advocates coming from so many different ethnic groups, including from Shan State. Young people, the youth, like youth leaders like Kun U, have been working both on the ground and internationally to secure sanctions. Even ASEAN, when we had to fight so hard to prevent the junta of that time, headed by Tan Sri, to become the chair of ASEAN in 2006, it took a big fight to block that. But now ASEAN automatically decided not to let Burma chair ASEAN in 2026. When ASEAN took the unprecedented step of barring Min Aung Hlaing from the ASEAN summit meetings. So a lot has been achieved that was considered impossible in the past. Even the US government sanctioning Myanmar oil and gas enterprise a few days ago was considered impossible because oil and gas is like the holy grail of the US government. They don't want to touch oil and gas. They don't want to do anything bad or sanction oil and gas industry. But in this case, they were forced to move forward with it because it was very clear that this was a big source of income for the junta. So we have amazing advocates and activists on the ground and regionally and internationally, mostly young people and women from different ethnic backgrounds who have been leading this charge, been leading this work and achieving amazing things with the support of their allies. So I would not say that the international community did not listen or did not do anything. They have done a lot compared in the past. They have moved faster thanks to activists from the ground. But we want to start moving if we want to think about how to support this, we really have to start addressing the gaps between those sanctions, the loopholes, closing up the loopholes to lock in this junta and deprive them of the means to commit crimes, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. I hope I'm not speaking too fast. And part of that process is preventing the weaponization of aid. And international organizations must not allow themselves to be hostages or even accomplices to the junta's push to weaponize aid against civilians, especially against civilians who do not want to have a military dictatorship. So I think what we need to also listen to is the wisdom of regional humanitarian experts like Adelina Kamal, who worked in ASEAN and was executive director of the ASEAN, the AHA Center, now saying that we must invest and must work with people on the ground. We have to actually be more grassroots oriented, and we have to do humanitarian work with a strong human rights lens, putting a rights-based approach instead of as long as we have access or we can stay in the country, we're happy to compromise and sign whatever MOU. That's not the way to do it. So I think we do need to think about all of those parts, that humanitarian, even during the COVID pandemic, human rights organizations on the ground started to do the humanitarian and health work because the central government wasn't doing it. And now human rights organizations are also doing humanitarian work because guess what? They see that humanitarian work is also part of human rights. Helping communities survive is part of their right to life. So I think we cannot kind of like section off things and imagine that one human being or one organization is going to only be focused on one thing and not ignore the reality of the community in which they are located. So if you're an INGO who wants to help people, help the groups who are doing the work on the ground instead of blocking them or putting unrealistic and ridiculous conditions on them. If you are wanting to help with the advocacy, then help the groups to try to, in their work, to now close the loopholes between all the different sanctions to make sure what we have is an international united front. Yeah. And don't let the junta divide and rule the international community. And when we talk about the special drawing rights of the IMF, the IMF is not recognizing the NUG as the legitimate state. So we do need to understand that the push to legitimize the NUG is sometimes going to be fundamental to getting aid on the ground. And the NUG has been doing its job, but I think we shouldn't be sitting back and expecting the government to do everything. In fact, that's what creates regimes. Yeah. We cannot just sit back and blame one government or the other. Part of the democracy, part of a federal inclusive democracy is everyone taking their role and holding each other accountable. So I hope I answered most of those questions. What has worked in advocacy is the fact that we have young people and diverse young people and women working together and going out there, and we have to just keep on working. The junta is not stopping its human rights violations, so we should not stop our activism. Thanks.
Sorry, I mute myself again. Thank you so much. I also want us to touch on a little bit on Marco Martin's question. Do you have any recommendation on how the international community can best deliver humanitarian assistance to IDPs in Shan State? Should an aid coordinated body be established in Thailand? What role can international organizations such as Red Cross or Save the Children play in the provision of the aids for the IDP? Can somebody please answer that?
Oh, let me jump in very quick.
Sure.
So I'm also one of the NUCC delegations as a woman delegation. So you're already aware that we have found the National Unity Consultative Council. So under of that, we have very diverse group who are joining with the NUCC, including the Women League Obama. Women League Obama is an umbrella organization, a political women organization with a different ethnic women organization like Tang Women Organization, Swans, and others, KWO or Kachins or Karens, every diverse group are there. So for the cross-border aid, sure, we can work directly with the NUCC member. In NUCC member, there are CDM group too, and then there are the ethnic different group too, and you can work directly with like CSO organization and political women organization like Women League Obama too. So even in the past, we have been with Debbie and others colleges, we have been asking and urging the international community to consider for the cross-border aid, even in Thailand or India or Bangladesh border, because it is very important to reach out. I'm sure China never accept that. So I won't say that we should put China to, if we can push, that is great. But I think after the election in Thailand, so the government of Thailand also, they have changed their policy. So we should approach for them and set up as a cross-border aid for the humanitarian aid, and it can go directly with that state actor and stakeholder that I mentioned, including the NUCC member. And on the other hand, I would repeat about the state-based organization like Karen. They have their own Karen community and which can deliver directly, like KWO, Karen Women Organization. They are in the camp, they are in the community, they are with the community. So we can deliver those kind of aid. But right now, when you are crossed with the SAC MOU, do you think that it will reach the community on time or enoughly? No, those humanitarian aid support will go to their weapons. They will use your aid to bind the weapon to kill those people, to kill the ethnic people, to kill our community. So that's why we don't agree on that. So please consider for the cross-border aid. Sure, it needs for the cross-border aid, not only in Thailand, but also India and Bangladesh too. Thank you. I think Debbie, you have something to add.
Sorry, I was just typing about the question of vaccinations. Number one, I think people need to recognize that the junta, at the end of last year, the junta had territorial control over less than half the country. And they have actually lost even more territory. If you look at just what has been happening in the past few weeks during Operation 1027 by the Three Brotherhoods Alliance, that they have had successes not just in Shan State and Kachin State, across Kachin State, but even in Sagaing and Mandalay region, because a lot of operations were done under the name of Operation 1027. So the reason the junta is doing airstrikes on civilians is that it is targeting civilians in areas that it cannot control. Even in so we firstly we need to recognize something. The junta is losing. It has control over a much smaller territory of the country. So if you are thinking, I want to have access and I want to vaccinate kids, then think again. You should be working with the ethnic health organizations because these areas traditionally is where the previous juntas and even the NLD government neglected. These are where in Chin State, children are dying from very basic diseases like measles because of the traditional and long-term blockage and barrier to vaccination. So if you really want to fix something, don't think, oh, we have to, I have been accused, I have to say, people have accused me of being responsible for babies dying because of my humanitarian advocacy. What I'm telling you is that please don't throw babies are dying excuse at me, because babies have been dying for decades in the ethnic areas because the various INGOs could not have access to those areas for vaccination. Now is the time. These areas are under control of ethnic groups. They are operating independently. Now is the time to go and work with the ethnic health organizations to make sure that vaccinations are finally delivered in those areas. We have very competent network of ethnic health organizations on the ground who have been operating for decades. Go work with them, open your eyes and look at what's going on the ground. So please don't come and say, oh, we have to cooperate with SAC, the junta, to have access. No, by cooperating with the SAC, you are actually getting less access. Firstly, the junta is trying to commit genocide of all these ethnic people. Do you think they're going to let you go and vaccinate the people they are trying to kill? I mean, where's the logic? Secondly, the junta doesn't even have control over those areas. That's why they have to resort to airstrikes. They cannot even move on the ground in those areas. So time to be a little bit humble and realistic and go and talk to ethnic health organizations for vaccination. Sorry.
Thank you. Yes, we are a little bit out of time. So I just wanted to invite back all of our panelists. If you can please, if you have any more recommendation, because I already started hearing quite a bit of recommendations, but if you have a few last, please feel free to take a minute each and say it out loud, and then we will wrap up and hand it back to Karen. Any last words? Yes, go ahead, Ku.
Thank you for all the question, and I think we can try another time to make a deeper discussion on that, including how we can transfer the budget, how we can manage for that, how we can collaborate in the future more and more. Come to Time Burma border area as well, then we can make in person a deeper discussion for that. Then we can find kind of like a better solution in that. So relate with the kind of like, now I also understand like Thai current politics is not really giving a favor to our movement, but we still have some people who are experienced working in Thai Burma border area. So don't really worry about like, can we send truth to border area or can we send directly to inside? Yes, we have a channel, and then we also operate for those kind of experience for a long time since before. So that's why I relate to that kind of experience. So we can do safely with that. And then the way we go like with Thai Burma border area, cross border area, and then directly into inside. So we still have a channel for that. That is what we've been working on that as well. So we can develop kind of like how we can like makes more easier with you for the international as well. Another thing is like we also have a new channel like now NUCC or NUG or ERO. So they also have their own channel. So more than half of the country is in the hand of the people, or in the hand of the ethnic armed organization. So why you are trying to think like, can we not? No, don't a lot to do, and then we can do it. So that is always a channel. There's always strategy for that. So relate to that. Just I would like to request here is like our movement. If we are calling for democracy, peace, then let's be in touch and then let's be solidarity for our movement. And thank you.
Okay, if we don't have any adding recommendation, I'd like to hand it back over to Karen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Ames, the Managing Director for the U.S. Campaign for Burma. This has been such a compelling event. We have such detailed information from our panelists, especially from our panelists from the Shan, Po'o, and Ta'ang communities, information we don't normally hear in the media. And it was such a great pleasure to hear from Debbie too, as well, from ASEAN Burma. And I wanted to also say, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules. There's definitely a lot happening on the ground, and it can be hard for everyone to come together to share this important information and to share your valuable knowledge and information. I do want to take a moment to say thank you to Myra for moderating the discussion. And again, thank you to our co-sponsors, Bursa Cal Poly SLO, ASEAN Burma, UUSC. And thank you to you, our audience, for joining today. As the Power of Inclusion series comes to a close, it is essential that we stand in solidarity with the impacted communities, the IDPs, refugees, and others throughout Burma, struggling to survive and live under an oppressive and violent military dictatorship. Today's event was just a small part of a larger picture. Since June, our series has highlighted the shared struggle across the country. Despite the difficult topics, our panels discussed the displaced community's struggle to access the most basic needs and life-saving aid. They've also highlighted the need for the international community and its leaders to work directly through local actors on the ground to both better understand what help is needed and to ensure aid is directly reaching targeted areas and communities, all of which that our panelists today have echoed. We continue to remind everyone that difficult conversations like today should not be ignored or overlooked. This is especially important considering the increasing calls for humanitarian aid, donations, and support as the impacted communities face extreme food and supply shortages. And finally, we must continue to hold the junta accountable for their crimes, to bring justice to those impacted and restore peace and security across Burma. As I bring this event to a close and this series to a close, be on the lookout for announcements for future events. If you are interested, and I know there is questions in the Q&A box about how much more you can be involved, reach out to USCB, reach out to ASEAN Burma. You've heard from our panelists. You can reach out to Kun U and Wei and Gloria. They are some of the best people to get in contact with on how you can do more collaborations, how you can raise the awareness for what's happening in Burma. And with that, I want to say, have a good evening and good day, everyone. Truly appreciate everyone joining us today and hearing what our panelists had to share today. Thank you.